game releases of November 2023.
Remember, everybody, the month of the year where it's
Hello,
no,
Max
I don't want to
Scoville.
do anything. As many of them as possible are November 2023's biggest game.
We skipped through these. All right.
Now, before we get into this, let me clarify that this video will not cover every single game that is releasing this month because there are flat out too many of them.
Yeah,
but we
there's a
will
bunch.
hit a lot of them. And if you'd like to keep track of everything coming out, I highly recommend checking out the IGN playlist app or just using it through IGN.com. I'll
Use
have
their
more
app
on that later, but basically it's just a massive, constantly updated database of games, new and old, that you can sort by various criteria and put into lists, sort of like Letterboxd or Goodreads.
Oh, can I like
games? Anyway.
Hold up a minute. Can I use that app and like put down that I've beaten games and stuff?
Friendly reminder, we also do our best
I might
to be
have to.
comprehensive with what's coming out, when it's releasing, and which platforms it's coming to, but mistakes do happen, and even more often
I might have to. That sounds cool.
Last-minute delays and announcements after we've already produced this video, so apologies in advance if either of those things happen. We're all doing our best, and now, without further ado, the games.
Oh my God.
His voice is cracking. I don't know what's happening.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm.
On November 1st, anyone nostalgic for the glory days of New
Alien Hominid. Not a fan.
Game Alien Hominid is not only getting an HD remaster, but it's also getting a brand new sequel with Alien Hominid Invasion. Those are both hitting PC, the Xboxes, and Nintendo Switch, and you won't even have to install a Flash plugin on the school library computers to play. You can go off the rails in Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventure.
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Consoles, which is a more casual spin on
I used to live on this game.
Carney Simulator. Still in that day is Song of Nunu, a League of Legends
Okay.
story, which is a
I just recently found out that this is a game. I reacted to the trailer. I didn't know what the hell it was. It's a game, okay?
standalone single-player adventure set in that universe involving a boy and a Yeti, and it's coming to Switch and PC. On November 2nd, Dead Island 2's House expansion drops.
Oh, Dead Island 2 is getting an expansion.
Heading to some techno-billionaire's death cult
Oh,
compound in Malibu, which sounds like more fun for anybody who dug whacking zombos in the head with electric baseball bats in that base game. Also on the 2nd is the farming and life sim My Time at Sandrock on PC, Switch, PS5, and Xbox.
Don't know that one.
This was originally slated for release back in September, but the devs needed more time to sand off the rough edges. Let's hope it's finally ready to rock this month.
Oh my
Still
god.
that day, we've got Phantom Blade Executioners on PS4, PS5, and PC, a fast-paced 2D action RPG with a Vampire Hunter delightful hand-drawn anime art style.
It looks good, damn.
Phantom Galaxies, a totally unrelated open-world space
Phantom Galaxies, that looks cool.
for now. There's also Played Up on all the consoles, which is an
Played Up?
like roguelike.
Yeah, I was gonna
as you serve
say,
your customers
Overcooked.
while also designing and managing your restaurant on the fly, and it's published by Yogscast Games, so fans of their content might find it especially charming.
Oh,
If you'd
nice.
rather chill out while cleaning up and
Power Wash Simulator VR.
the surprise hit
We
Power
just
Wash
reacted to
Simulator
that
is
one.
coming to VR by way of Meta Quest 2 and 3, and despite the high PSI you're spraying water at,
Nice.
this game is refreshingly low pressure.
Ah.
If you'd rather clean up the streets of Detroit in
Guys
a
got the
metaphorical sense,
puns.
you can grab RoboCop Rogue City on PS5, Xbox
RoboCop,
Series, and
we
PC.
reacted to
This
that
will
one.
supposedly have you solving some mysteries and exploring a complex branching narrative. Shooting dudes in the and throwing dumpsters around as the titular cybernetic policeman from Paul Verhoeven's seminal and other bodily fluid-infused 1987 classic. I wish I could say you can buy that for $1, but it's actually only $50, which is still cheaper than a lot of games these days, but hey.
True.
Buy that for $1.
Somehow we're still only halfway through November 2nd, and it's
Star
a big day for
Ocean,
Game
the
Book 2 in
second
title. A
story?
few other notable sequels are Star Ocean, the Second Story R, the 2.5D remake of the beloved JRPG series' second entry. That's on the PlayStations, the PC,
Don't know that
and
one.
the Switch. The Smurfs 2, The Prisoner of
Smurfs
the Moving Stone,
2.
is definitely not the second Smurfs game ever made, but it's a sequel to 2021's Mission Villif, and it's out that day for everything as well. If you want something a little more intellectually stimulating than helping those blue socialists evade Gargamel, the Talos Principle 2 is out that day for new
Talos
and
Principle.
PC as
That's
well.
supposed to be really
Cerebral
good. So I played the first one.
philosophical sci-fi puzzle game is somehow made by the same people behind the Dumb as Rock Serious Sam series, but it looks like
really?
it'll stimulate
I didn't know that.
parts of your brain. Finally, on the 2nd is Thirsty Suitors, a narrative adventure from the studio that gave us Falcon
Thirsty
Age. Between dating,
Suitors?
cooking, skateboarding, and dance-offs, there's so much going on that it's kind of hard to summarize it, but it looks to be heavily influenced by both Scott Pilgrim and Southeast Asian culture. That's
What
on
the
everything.
hell?
On November 3rd, 2023,
DreamWorks
All-Star Kart
All-Star-
Racing gives the classic mascot
All-Star
Richard treatment
Kart
to Shrek,
Racing.
Kung Fu Panda, and that guy who has taken 3 movies, 5 direct-to-video shorts, and a whole TV show to figure out how to train his dragon, and I still don't think he has it down. I specify November 3rd, 2023,
Nice.
because it sounds like a game that might have come out 12 years ago. That is on all the current platforms, and
Yeah.
possibly Wii. Who knows?
Wait, clean in! Wait.
Finding
A more
Nemo.
serious
Oh,
racing
okay,
game is
that's-
out that day as well.
That was just a
EA
clip.
Sports WRC, which as far as I can tell does not have Shrek in it, though I could be mistaken. And
EA
hey, Swamp could
Sports.
make for a really fun rally course. That's on
WRC.
consoles and PC. Still in the third is a game that sounds like something I would make up as a
Ebenezer
joke on
and
a
the
podcast
Invisible
and spend
World?
way too long photoshopping box art for to post on Twitter, only to get 2 retweets. But I assure you, it is a real product. Ebenezer and the Invisible World is a 2D Metroidvania starring one of popular culture's most iconic and enduring Ebenezers.
Dude, that's actually cool.
Ebenezer Scrooge. This time around, though, Scrooge is reimagined as a hero, and he's also a vaguely sexy anime man, and I don't know which of these concepts would have the ghost of Charles Dickens rattling its chains more angrily, but that's on everything. Wake me up when there's a game
What?
called Great Expectations RPG with Mrs. Havisham as a romance option. That sounds delightful. Still that day, you can load up Microsoft Flight Simulator on Xbox Series and PC.
Wow.
Around Arrakis and an ornithopter in the new Dune DLC. To
They're
kill
having
some
a
time
Dune
until Chapter
DLC
2
to Microsoft
finally hits
Flight
theaters
Simulator.
4 months later than expected.
That's
Next March.
insane.
Man, I want to see that movie. If you would like to embarrass yourself in a variety of different ways in rapid
WarioWare
succession, great
Move
news
It?
because WarioWare Move It hits Nintendo Switch, and I am so excited for this stupid game. I have incredibly fond, blurry memories of playing WarioWare smooth moves on Wii in a cramped dorm room back in college, and I will be celebrating my 37th, I think, birthday by attempting to relive those glory days with this new installment, and probably throwing my back out in the process, because that's what you do when you're in your late 30s.
Wow.
My back. Oh, my back.
On November 6th, people who like managing
Football
footballs
Manager
have their work cut out for them,
2024,
because
not a
Football
fan.
Manager 2024 comes to PC, Football Manager 2024 console comes to Xbox One, Xbox Series, PS4, and PS5, Football Manager 2024 mobile comes to mobile devices, and Football Manager 2024 touch comes to
I'd rather
Nintendo
play
Switch.
like FIFA.
And I'm assuming they're calling it that because it has touchscreen controls, not because it's about touch football rather than tackle, but I could be mistaken. Still in the 6 is The Invincible, the hard sci-fi
The
first-person
Invincible.
adventure, heavily borrowing from the works of Polish sci-fi author Stanislaw Lem. He's the guy who wrote Solaris, which was adapted into a film by Andrei Tarkovsky, who's the same guy who directed Stalker, which also
This looks
inspired
pretty
the
good.
Shadow/Heart of Chernobyl game.
I haven't seen
It's
this
a bit
one.
of a walk, but if you like video games inspired by Eastern European genre fiction from that particular time period, maybe give this one a whirl. That's on New Gen
looks pretty
and
cool.
PC. On November 7th, you apparently did so much
Kill it with
power
fire
washing
in
all those
VR.
spiders living in
Nice.
your rain gutters and under your porch went inside the house, and now you gotta go in there and kill them with fire, among other things.
I remember this
Kill
game.
It with Fire VR. This game is definitely not realistic, but if you're an arachnophobe, it still might be enough to rustle your jimmies. I'm extremely spider averse, and I threw
Just
on
shot it with a
non-VR
shotgun.
version a while back, and I only made it a few levels before I had to nope out, and I will say a hard nope to the VR version because I don't need to be that squeamish. Anyway, if that sounds like a good time to you, clean the cobwebs off that PSVR 2 and take it for a spin. Still in the 7th is the digital version
Nickelodeon
of
All-Star Brawl
Release
2.
Isn't until December 2nd, if that matters at all, but that is yet another Smash-like featuring your favorite Nicktoon.
I remember we reacted to this
The
one.
Angry Beavers and a whole bunch of other more recent ones that I have no strong feelings about because I'm old and tired. Wake me up when they add Stick Stickly as a playable character and make an entire stage based on Face from Nick Jr. Brr, brr, brr. That's on everything.
Oh my
Another
god.
old non-Nicktoon cartoon that I watched on Nickelodeon is getting a game that day as well.
Tintin Reporter?
Cigars of the Pharaohs, which I am unironically really excited about. This gamifies the classic Hergé comic.
I was about to say, from, like, the Tintin
with what
movie,
looks
right?
like some platforming and flying and a bunch of puzzles.
What?
The preview we put up was really positive. That's
It actually
on the
looks
Switch.
good.
I'm super interested.
That's
On
kinda
November
crazy.
9th, it's a big day for people who like dragons because, like
Dragons.
Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, sees the return of Kazuma Kiryu, the
Yes.
former protagonist of the series formerly known as Yakuza, who faked his own
Yakuza.
death and disappeared forever at the end of Yakuza 6, The Song of Life.
Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't hear that.
20s Yakuza
I didn't hear that.
Dragon, and he's going to be back
I
in a
didn't hear
starring
that.
role as one of the main protagonists in next year's Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. This game, however, is connecting the dots between all of that, and ultimately all that stuff I just said doesn't really matter.
I
because this is a
literally
game
just
where you can kick a
forgot
bunch of
everything you
dudes'
just said.
asses using gadgets like rocket shoes and exploding cigarettes,
God.
which sounds like fun. That's on the Xboxes, the PlayStations, and the PC. If you thought November 9th was a single Dragon Day, you are horribly
Double
mistaken
Dragon
because
Collection?
it is in fact a double Dragon Day, and in addition to kicking dudes' asses in Like a Dragon Gaiden, you can do it the old-fashioned 2D way in Double Dragon Collection, which collects 6 of Bimmy and Jimmy's most notable outings, a few of which haven't gotten official ports in a very long time. That's on Switch, PC, PS4, and Xbox One. If you prefer Dungeons over Dragons, well, you're in luck too, because
Dungeons
Dungeons
4
4 hits new gen and PC that day as well. Can you believe it? Dungeons and Dragons on the same day? This script practically writes itself. Haha, I'm just kidding. It's actually a lot of work. On November 10th, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 comes to
yes,
everything but
Modern
Switch.
Warfare.
There were a bunch of rumors that Activision would do the unthinkable
Can't
and actually
wait.
not release a new Call of Duty this year, and instead was going to put out a major expansion to last year's Modern Warfare 2. Well, surprise, because that expansion expanded so much that it is now a full-fledged, full-price release, which will inevitably be one of the best-selling games of the year.
I think that the
In addition to
campaign's the
being a
best
release date
thing
of
about
something
Call of
famous
Duty.
for coming out every year, it's also the alleged
The day
release date
before.
that's
We're
famous
excited for that one,
not
too.
coming out. The day before, the massive post-apocalyptic survival game had a reveal that seemed too good to be true and quickly became the most wish-listed game on Steam. It was supposed to be out in June of last year, and then the studio announced that they were switching engines, and it was briefly delisted due to some trademark thing.
it looks
and long
good.
story short, it's supposedly coming out this month for PC. The same
I know you
as Call of
can.
Duty.
I was just
Could go
messing
wrong.
with you.
On the 14th, Coral Island 1.0.
Coral Island.
is a Kickstarter darling that takes the old Harvest.
I
Moon
played
farming
this
sim
when
formula
it
and
was
gives
in
it a nice
Kickstarter.
tropical spin. I guess it is technically a cozy game, but cozy makes me think of sweaters and tea, and this seems more like a board shorts and umbrella drinks kind of game.
Playing the campaign
that's
at
on PC
12.
and new gen.
You are?
Sweaters and tea. Any Hufflepuffs holding out hope for
Hogwarts Legacy
are in luck when the long-awaited
coming to
port
Switch.
finally drops for Nintendo's little console
On
that
the
could
14th.
and sometimes can. Seems like it probably took some advanced transfiguration to get a game of this scale running on that hardware. Then again, based on
God,
Mortal Kombat
yeah.
11's Switch
Kinda
version,
figured you were.
WB Interactive is even more eager to ship something that's fundamentally messed up than the Harry Potter erotic fanfiction community is. So maybe
It's the best thing about
on
Call
this
of
one to
Duty
make
is the
sure you're not getting
campaign.
A game where everyone's facial animations look like that Voldemort CGI in the first movie.
You liar!
Fans of Invincible, the comic or the show, might have
Invincible
missed the news, but
presents
the game
Adam
anyway.
Eve.
Invincible presents Adam Eve is coming to PC on the 14th, and it gives Invincible's better half the Japanese dating sim treatment. It's not a big, huge open-world action game, but it's something. Still on the 14th is
What?
Karmazoo, which I spent 10 minutes Googling and I still couldn't quite figure it out.
Karmazoo?
From what I can tell, it's a multiplayer platformer where you can play as a variety of different animals with different abilities, and the idea is to use those abilities to assist and be assisted by a bunch of other rando players online. And there's also competitive multiplayer if you'd rather not play nice. So somewhere between Duck Game and Journey, I guess. I could be way off, but it sounds interesting. That's on PS5,
I'm not a
Xbox
fan of
Series,
that,
PC,
sorry.
and Switch, and it supports crossplay.
I mean, it looks
On
cool.
the 15th, we've got another interesting sounding indie with American Arcadia, which is a cinematic.
think we
puzzle
saw
game
one of
that's
these.
Part 2.5D
Yeah, we saw
platformer
some
and
of
part
this.
first-person adventure.
Or I
It's about
did.
A guy named Trevor escaping from a reality show. So if your name is Trevor, or you think it sounds like a cool idea for a video game, or both, you might
Oh,
enjoy
it's
this
like
one.
Inside
Sound
Out
off in
and
the
all that.
comments,
Absolutely.
Trevor's. That's on PC, PS4,
did see
and
this.
Xbox One. Also on the
This one looks
15th
good.
is the PS5 and Xbox versions
Tear
of
Down.
Teardown, the hit PC
We reacted
game
to this
about
one,
tearing
too.
down, which looks like a very good time for blowing off some steam, and it's nice to see that it's finally on more platforms besides Steam.
Yeah.
Also that day, The Last Faith.
The Last Faith.
Metroidvania Soulsborne, which is
Super good.
heavily
I suck at
Metroidvania
these
born
type of
ends
games.
those genres.
I also
Depends
played
on
the
everything.
demo of
Oh, and
this.
how could I forget? November 15th is the release date for Sony's brand new portable device, the
Portal.
PlayStation Portal. If you haven't been keeping track of this, it's something of a monkey paw wish. It is a dedicated remote play device rather than a dedicated handheld, and instead of streaming games from the cloud, it connects directly to your PS5, assuming you have one of those, and pipes you gameplay from that. This means that it and your PS5 need a stable internet connection. It's probably a great solution if you want to play a game while using your TV for something else, but
Yeah,
there are
that's what I was
existing
thinking.
ways to do exactly that without dropping $200 on
Right.
a new device. You can pair your controller with a phone, tablet, or laptop
Right.
and stream on that. Or you
Exactly.
get a backbone to turn your phone into a little handheld for half the price of
Yeah.
this. You can even get a second TV for
I don't
less than a
understand why you would pay for
Portal
that.
does feature the DualSense controller's bells and whistles, though,
Oh,
so there's
that's
that.
why.
And sometimes it's fun to buy stupid little gizmos and gadgets. Speaking
At
of
least me and him are on the same
PlayStation 5
page.
Slim is also supposed to hit stores sometime in November, but as of October 24th, when I'm shooting this video, there is no official word from Sony.
No official date.
The new one is 30% smaller, has a 12.5% larger hard drive, and the digital-only version costs $50 more than the earlier discless version cost at launch 3 years ago. As far as I can tell, this is the first time in PlayStation history that a console has gotten more expensive post-launch.
Wow.
Since the PS3 era, Slim models have been introduced at lower prices or the same prices as their larger launch counterparts, and usually 3 years into a PlayStation's life cycle, they start selling them for like $100 less than they cost at launch.
Right,
But
exactly.
that is clearly not the case this time around. If
Damn.
everything I said made you want to go stab
Assassin's
well, great
Creed
news,
Nexus.
Because on the 16th, Assassin's Creed Nexus
Looks
VR
great.
takes the historically and historical third-person assassination game and makes it a first-person virtual reality
That's
affair.
gonna be a good one to
Probably
look
could
out
glean
for.
that from the title alone, but if you haven't been paying attention, apparently they pulled it off pretty well. Jumping from high places into haystacks in VR is one of those things that could be vomit-inducing
Yeah.
or exhilarating or both, but I guess it's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm curious to check that out. That is on Metacritic.
Yeah, I am too.
And I keep hearing good things about the Lovecraft
Dredge.
fishing game Dredge,
The
and if you're one of the people who's
Pale
been
Reach.
saying those good things, you'll probably appreciate that it's already getting some DLC with the Pale Reach expansion, which is coming to all the platforms that Dredge is already
Somebody
on.
wanted me to
At
play this a
point,
long
mention
time
of the
ago.
Game Flashback might give you, well, flashbacks to the mid-90s and getting stuck on that cinematic puzzle platformer's early jungle levels. Well, great news, it's getting a brand new sequel, creatively titled Flashback 2, despite it being technically the third game. That's on everything digitally, with physical versions coming next year. The Xboxes and PlayStations get Jagged Alliance 3 that day as
3.
well. This is the long-awaited sequel to one of the hottest tactical RPGs of 1999, and thankfully it sounds like it was worth the wait, so I'm happy to hear it's coming to more platforms. Finally,
the
on the
tactical
16th,
RPG, it's
Yohane
nice.
the Parhelion Blaze in the Deep Blue is a 2D Metroidvania rooted in the Love Live Sunshine anime series. That's on everything, and if we're being completely honest here, it made the
You
list
know
because I
PUD
wanted
is
to say
harder
the full
trying
title
off
out loud.
Sims,
Yohane
right?
the
What do you mean?
Parhelion Blaze in the Deep Blue. That is up there with Artanelico Kogo.
Oh,
the
never getting off
RCL
Sims.
for what did I just say?
She will eventually.
Speaking of blue stuff, on November 7th,
Bluey, the video game.
everything. This is the first game
Bluey.
show that a lot of parents are also very fond of, present company.
I'm
included.
ex-
And
yeah,
it's
me
supposed to
too.
incorporate some activities from the show, like Keepy Uppy and the Magic Xylophone. But
So I
it's
can
also
play
got a little
Apex.
campaign and lets you explore
But it's
some of
okay.
your settings
Not yet.
in co-op,
I
which
got
totally
stuff
gonna
I'm
do with
watching.
My daughter. If you don't have kids and don't understand,
I can't-
the
I wanna
game,
play
it's
that.
basically
I will
Peppa
play that.
Pig, except it's Australian, not annoying, and it's about a kind, imaginative little dog whose parents still love each other, rather than a dead-eyed British piglet who regularly exhibits numerous dark triad personality traits. It's also
Oh, yeah, that's
genuinely
true. I
funny for a
didn't
little
think of
kids show. There's an episode that's basically a courtroom procedural, putting the dad on trial for farting in one of the kids' faces.
I saw that, yeah. I saw that episode.
There's another where the kids pretend that they're whale watchers and their mom is the whale because she's hungover from New Year's Eve and just wants to lie on the couch and eat corn chips, and really, who doesn't? Anyway, Bluey's great, so fingers
Bluey
crossed
is
this
great.
game isn't shovelware. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry for going all dad there. If you're a cool, hip, fun young person who watches cartoons and has casual sex, you're probably more interested in Naruto X Boruto, Ultimate
Okay.
Ninja Storm Connections, which will revisit a bunch of iconic battles from
This guy's great, by the way. That was amazing.
the anime, as well as telling an original story, and it's got
Naruto X Boruto.
characters, which is utterly bananas. That's on everything, and the title kind of makes me think it's an ad for a dating service. Sign up now for some Ultimate Ninja Storm connections today. There are
Damn right.
130 single ninjas in your area looking to chat. Most of them are hiding in plain sight.
He's
Anyway,
funny. I
don't
like
have any
him.
Dating, but Persona 5
Persona 5, we just reacted to that one.
And husbandos into an alternate dimension where they will squad up with the local freedom fighters to overthrow the oppressive regime that is controlling this strange realm. And weirdly, it takes place concurrently with the events of Persona 5, which it's kind of odd that revolutionary work never came up in conversation, but hey, everyone's got a lot going on in Persona 5. That's on Switch. Also on
Oh,
Switch
cool.
is Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, the top-to-bottom modern overhaul of the beloved 1996 Squaresoft RPG. This game looked amazing on Super NES back in the day, and it probably didn't need a full modern overhaul, but absolutely nobody is complaining.
It looks good. It really
Still on the
does.
17th, you can do some slicing and dicing
Tiger
in VR with
Blade.
Tiger Blade, which is on PSVR 2, and you can do some strategic clicking on stuff.
Warhammer.
Age of Sigmar, Realms of Ruin, which is on New Gen and PC.
Okay, okay.
Worldless, a trippy minimalist platformer we told you about last month, got hit with a
Worldless.
delay, but it'll come to everything on the 21st. On November 28th, Last Train Home hits PC. This is an on-rails approach to real-time strategy, quite literally, as you've got to get a train full of soldiers safely through a war zone, and outside of combat, you can expect a fair amount of management and keeping tabs on the well-being of
Damn.
your troops. It seems a little like FTL, but considerably slower than the speed of light. Also, it is supposedly based on real events, showing what the Czechoslovak Legion went
Okay.
through in the wake of the Great War. While
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I like this.
Definitely not a cozy game,
Looks all right.
but it sounds like it might pair well with bleak winter weather and seasonal depression. On November 29th, there's the first
Forest
mystery
Grove.
Forest Grove, which is on everything but Switch, and a day later,
I like
Asterix
games
and
that do
Obelix
stuff
Slap
like
Them
that.
All too. Last month, we told you about Asterix and Obelix Heroes, which is a deck battler. We showed gameplay from Slap Them All, and this week, I promise you, we are showing the right gameplay. That is on PS4, PS5, Series X, Xbox
don't know
One,
nothing about
Switch,
this one.
and PC. Last month, we told you the Robin Hood infused
Gangs of
multiplayer
Sherwood.
Sherwood was coming out for PS5, Xbox.
Looking forward to that one. That's
PC,
going to be
and
a
it
good one, baby. I
would
played the
have got
demo. It
delayed
was
twice
amazing.
since then, and now it's coming out November 30th, assuming they don't kick it down the road yet again. And there you have it. That is a breakdown of a lot of the games that are coming out this month. But like I said, we skipped some. If there's something that we omitted from this list, I promise you there's
What's
nothing
IGN
conspiratorial
playlist?
or
I'm gonna
nefarious
watch
about
it to find
being
out
on
what
the
it
list or
is.
not being on the list. We just picked the ones that we thought looked the coolest. We probably forgot some. If we forgot something really cool, shout it out in the comments. But don't just be
Might as
like,
well
you
just
forgot
watch the
this
rest.
thing. I hate you. Just tell us why it's cool.
Dude,
Hype it up. Tell us.
you know what? He's so right. Listen,
Why should we?
I hate getting those comments because it does happen. It's like, you know what? F you. You know, like, okay, F me why? Like,
Play it, or should we not play it? Meanwhile, if you're the sort of person who likes keeping track of what's worth playing, what you want to play, what you have played, and so on, please give IGN Playlist a shot. We have a massive, constantly growing database of games, and you will find a complete list of what's coming out soon, plus tons of lists of recommendations from the IGN staff and the community. You can keep track of your wish list,
I
or just
see.
make lists based on bizarre criteria, like games with weaponized bodily fluids. That's one that I made. And it's also integrated with How Long to Beat, so you can actually figure out how.
oh, it's paired with How Long to Beat. I was just about to say I am signed up for How Long to Beat because whenever I beat a game, I go ahead and I input some of my stats. That's awesome. Okay, cool.
Backlog of games that you say you're going to play but keep forgetting to play. Hop over to playlist.ign.com. You can use the service through a browser, or you can get a dedicated mobile app. It is totally free to sign up for.
I'll probably do
Nobody
this.
asked me to plug it in this video. It just seems like something that would be of use.
Nah,
to our
for real,
audience
that's good.
who watches these videos, especially the cool people who hang out to the very end when I sound all raspy, like I've been smoking cigarettes out behind the bleachers.
He's been sounding that way since the beginning,
That
bro.
note,
Tato, what you
holy
mean?
hell, we did it. Those were the biggest games and the biggest game release month of what's easily the biggest game release year of my career, possibly ever. I'll be back next month with the last one of these videos of 2023, unless they make me do 2024's biggest upcoming games, which they probably will.
Yeah, I was gonna say
there's
they
an
probably
Avatar
will.
game out next month. So on that note, I see you next month.
Later on, bro, Tato. That was nice. I like that. That's the biggest game releases of November 2023. I'm gonna download that app.